come on. Can we talk about this?
Don't act like you're innocent. You betrayed trust. You shall perish human.
Yes, I know I fucked up. But please, I'm just asking for one more chance.
Very well, I will grant you one more chance to redeem yourself. Don't disappoint me ever again, human.
Thank you. I won't disappoint you.
Ha! What a stupid fucking god he is. I never told him which version I'm gonna play. Wow! It has been 10 months since I made the Kyūyaku Megami Tensei 1 Honest Verdict video. I apologize to all the Kyūyaku Megami Tensei fans out there that have been waiting for a review about its sequel. So, it's time to be a man of war and make the video I promised months ago. The commercial success of the original Megami Tensei back in 1987 allowed Namco, who had the Megami Tensei's right back then, to work in a direct sequel that would feature new characters, an original story, new mechanics, a new setting, and most importantly, new ways to fuck you up. And thus, in 1990, Megami Tensei II makes its debut for the Famicom. The impact this game left in the series is far beyond unforgettable. Even so, that to this day is considered one, if not the most important game in the series. And of course, Atlus wouldn't be that stupid to abandon the opportunity to remake this game for a more powerful console. That's why Kyūyaku Megami Tensei not only had the original Megami Tensei, but it also includes a Megami Tensei 2 remaster featuring 16-bit graphics, a more balanced gameplay, newly arranged soundtrack, and to motivate players to play this game after beating the first one, bonuses to increase the replayability. Sup guys, Carlos here. Today we'll take a look at Kyūyaku Megami Tensei 2 and explain how this game became the origins of Shin Megami Tensei as a whole by analyzing its most important aspects: gameplay, graphics, story, characters, and soundtrack. At the end of this video, I'll answer 4 questions as I always do. 1. It is a good video game. 2. Should you really waste your time playing it? 3. It is better than the Famicom version? And 4. Is this the best Megaten of all time? Just as I did with the first Shin Megami Tensei games, I played this game on my 2DS XL. The worst possible way to play it, to be honest. So, the gameplay that you are currently watching belongs to other content creators. Thanks to Buff Meister, Marsh, and Razorbrand for letting me use their videos. Without the effort of these guys, this video and my whole channel wouldn't be possible. Just for that, thank you very much. Before continuing with this video though, if you haven't watched the first Kyūyaku Megami Tensei Honest Verdict video, I highly recommend you to do so. And if you can support this video by leaving a like, subscribing to my channel, and sharing this video with your friends, you will have no idea how much I will appreciate it. Now it's finally time to fulfill the promise I made 10 months ago. Welcome to Kyūyaku Megami Tensei II, my honest verdict. Kyūyaku 2's gameplay is the definition of classic Megaten gameplay at its finest. A dungeon crawler from first person's perspective with many empty rooms to explore, very similar to what Megami Tensei 1 and the remaster did. But there are noticeable changes that make Kyūyaku Megami Tensei 2's gameplay more fun and engaging than its prequel. First of all, you are no longer stuck in an extensive dungeon. This time you have an entire Tokyo and multiple places to explore, a significant upgrade compared to Megami Tensei 1. Megami Tensei 2 also features a new type of weapon that will help you to survive against any demon: guns. These weapons are effective against demons with physical bodies, while melee weapons are effective against demons without any bodies at all, mainly ghosts or spirits. However, the firearms aren't that powerful because you can get elemental or element bullets in this game. At least work for cause damage to multiple demons at the same time. But with this addition, it came a big consequence. You can't longer buy melee weapons at any store. The only way to get melee weapons outside of 2 that you get near the end and one that is hidden is by defeating a demon and pray to it drops one. So as you might expect, luck isn't that useless in this game. One change that the sequel desperately needed was the inclusion of more demons. If you remember one of my complaints about Kyūyaku Megami Tensei, I said fusing demons wasn't accessible at all, because the level Nakajima needed to fuse them was so fucking high that it required hours of grinding just to get a demon that, surprisingly, wasn't a big deal. Fortunately, in this game, that complaint is no longer relevant. Kyūyaku 2 has more demons to fuse, you can recruit more of them, and thanks to some of them are actually useful. Kyūyaku Megami Tensei II, unlike its prequel, didn't have that many changes outside of balancing some bosses, reducing the number of enemies with that infamous skill that reduces your level, and a sliding counter rate adjustment, which is barely noticeable because this game also has a high encounter rate. Not as high as Shin Megami Tensei 1 and its older ports, but it's still high enough to be considered a menace, which is something that I still have to talk about, the difficulty. Kyūyaku 1 was very difficult in the first 2 hours, but this game, oh my fucking... they went all out with the random encounters. From the mid-game to the last moments of this game, you're gonna face some of the toughest random encounters seen in the Megami Tensei's history. I'm not joking. Some demons have enough skill to make your life as miserable as possible, which is ironic if we consider the bosses aren't that difficult. Sure, they have more HP than a common demon, but they don't have bullshit attacks and skills that make you throw this game outside of the window, at least in the remaster. This game is such a fantastic and challenging entry. So, your old pal Carlos is here to give you some tips to make your experience more enjoyable. Number 1. For Hideto, our protagonist, invest all of your level up points into strength and vitality, and some of them into speed and luck, while for Senda and Rosanna, invest all of your points into intellect and vitality to make sure all of them can survive the endgame encounters. Number 2. Get Undyne and Gnome. The game doesn't tell you anything about this, but these two demons are required to progress. Number 3. Once you finish Kyūyaku 1, for the love of... do not turn off the console. Instead, start this game immediately and save your progress when it's possible. You have to do this to do what I'm gonna tell you now. Number 4. Do the Jack Frost side quest. If you saved after finishing Kyūyaku 1 and do a mini side quest involving Rag in that game, during the mid game, look for a guide on the internet and do every step to complete the Jack Frost quest. If you complete it, you're gonna get a ton of experience, money, magnetite, and most importantly, 3 powerful demons that will carry you hard during the endgame. Number 5 and the most important one, do not kill the frog. Near the mid-game ending, one of the bosses will turn into a frog. If you dare to fucking kill it, you won't be able to confront the final boss. Instead, put the frog inside a courtyard. Compared to Megami Tensei 1, this game is huge. You have the classic 2D dungeon exploration and also the overworld exploration, which somehow make this game more immersive than it should be. Finishing this game took me 30 hours, 8 additional hours compared to Kyūyaku 1, and let me tell you, I enjoy every single minute of it. As I said moments ago, this game is the pure definition of classic Megaten action. If you love Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2, you are gonna love this game. Its gameplay isn't as polished as these two, but it's simple and especially enjoyable with all flaws considered. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. When someone thinks about this remaster, one of the things that crosses everyone's mind is how the game will look. In the Kyūyaku 1 Honest Verdict video, I said the 16-bit graphics were a downgrade for not transmitting the original game's atmosphere. To our surprise, for this game that isn't the case. Megami Tensei II still looks great until this day, but its remaster improved its graphics significantly. Now the post-apocalyptic Tokyo looks as living as ever. In the original game, you barely notice the destruction the ICBMs caused on Tokyo. However, by just stepping into the overworld in Kyūyaku 2, you are gonna notice how shitty the situation really is. There are many destroyed buildings, the water levels are way too high to the point that it sunk some destroyed buildings, the sky is grey and reflects how lifeless the world looks, and so more. The overworld received a huge upgrade, and before you say it, yes, I perfectly know the demons design from Kyūyaku 1 is exactly the same here. But you know what? That's a detail I can completely ignore as long as the overworld looks as detailed as it is now. 8 out of 10. The work the development team did here is simply fantastic. Megami Tensei II story proved to us that you can write an original and engaging story on limited hardware as long as you want to create something unique. In the year 1990X, the world was demolished after a rain of missiles struck the earth, forcing the remaining survivors to live in shelters to survive the continuous demons attacks and the poor living conditions outside. One day, a boy called Hirano and his best friend Senda were playing the Devil Busters video game, which looks very familiar to certain someone's adventure. Once completed, a demon seal inside the game called Pazuzu escapes and warns them about the upcoming war against the demonic forces, calling them the messiahs that will bring peace back to the world. If you played this game, watch the March video or the video I uploaded 2 months ago, you know this isn't the real premise of this game. But if you want to play this game without any spoilers, I won't tell you what happened. Being 100% loyal to the original product, Megami Tensei II's story remains the same in Kyūyaku 2, without any addition to expand its lore, character development, or anything to stand over the original game. This is one of the negative points that is present in both Kyūyaku Megami Tenseis. I'm not asking for 3 hours of dialogues between Hideto, Senda, Rosanna, and the bosses. The only thing that I wanted was more information about what happened after the Mankind era's ending and the events that happened before this game took place. And especially more interactions between Hideto, Senda, and Rosanna. We know Hideto isn't a silent protagonist because of a certain event that makes him talk by force. You know, I've been wondering, am I being too harsh with this game? It sucks that Atlus didn't add a shit to this story in this remaster, but the original Megami Tensei II story was such a treat. The world building, the plot twist, and the character developments are simply fantastic. Unfortunately, all of those details are already present in the original game. The remaster didn't add anything to complement. Just for that, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. If the story didn't change or added something new to discuss, do you think they did something with the characters? Although I must say the characters from this game are a huge upgrade from the original Megami Tensei. Megami Tensei only has 2 characters, Akemi Nakajima, Yumiko Shirasagi, and the Tyrant bosses. Characters that had their development in the Digital Devil Story novels. Any interaction between these 2 is not existed in the game. Surprisingly, this isn't the case for Megami Tensei II. This game has 3 main characters, Hideto, Senda, and Rosanna. Being Hideto and Senda the best friends that are living inside a shelter to survive, while Rosanna is the witch that Pazuzu ordered us to kill. I don't want to get into spoilers, because this is a game that I recommend you to play without knowing anything about it. Watch my video if you really want to know the story of this game. But this man, this motherfucker is such a great character that just for him alone, I'll give an 8 out of 10 to this game. I'm sorry for not explaining what made me giving it this score, but I'm telling you, you need to play this video game or watch any video explaining its story and its characters. I've been waiting to talk about this aspect since I made the Kyūyaku 1 video. Megami Tensei 2's soundtrack is considered by most of the people from the Megaten community, including me, to be one of the greatest soundtracks from the series, the Famicom era, and even some consider it as one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. If you think I'm exaggerating, you have no idea what your eardrums have been missing too. Megami Tensei 2's soundtrack was composed by the legendary Tsukasa Masuko, who composed the oldest Megaten game soundtracks known to this day, while Kyūyaku Megami Tensei soundtrack was composed by a collaboration between him and Hitoshi Sakimoto, who is known for composing PC Engine's Shin Megami Tensei, Final Fantasy Tactics 1 and 2, and Final Fantasy XII soundtracks. The work both composers did was breathtaking. Just listen to some of the rearranged tracks to know how I felt the first time I listened to them. Kyūyaku Megami Tensei II soundtrack is great. There is no other word to refer to it. But it's shit compared to what Tsukasa Masaku did alone with the original Megami Tensei II soundtrack. Let me show you what peak Megaten soundtrack sounds like. It doesn't matter how hard you try, it's simply impossible to recreate the same feeling the original game delivers with its soundtrack. Just for being a bit inferior to Megami Tensei II, I will give the soundtrack an 8 out of 10. It's finally time to find out how good or bad this game is. We got 7 on gameplay, 8 on graphics, 7 on story, 8 on characters and 8 on soundtrack, which gives the total of 7.6 out of 10. Let's round it to 8 to make things cleaner. Leaving Kyūyaku Megami Tensei II on the same place as games such as Persona 5 Royal or Shin Megami Tensei IV. And I'm not joking, this game is that good. Now I'll answer the questions I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Is Kyūyaku Megami Tensei II a good video game? If you love Shin Megami Tensei 1, 2 or even A Strange Journey, this game should be included in your list of pending games. Should you waste your time playing this game? This one also depends on how much you love the games I mentioned before. If you simply don't enjoy dungeon crawling games as much as I do, you can watch Buffmeister's video and you will enjoy part of the experience. It is better than the Famicom version? Compared to Megami Tensei 1, choosing between Kyūyaku 2 and Megami Tensei 2 is a tough choice. Kyūyaku 2 improves and added so many bonuses to enhance the experience, while Megami Tensei 2 was such an important game for Megaten and the JRPG industry. So I can't give you a proper answer to that question. Maybe when I play Megami Tensei 2, I might be able to solve this. Is Kyūyaku Megami Tensei 2 the best game of the Megaten series? Unfortunately, no. There are better Megaten games out there that can easily surpass this one, but it's without a doubt one of the most underrated games from Megaten. For the love of, give this game an opportunity and you will appreciate how awesome it is. Wow, that game is really something else, and I wouldn't have played it without suggestion. Thank you so much, by the way.
You have done well, my child, but you made one fatal mistake. Think I'm a fool?
I have no idea what are you talking about.
I found out you played the wrong version of the video game I demanded you to review. For disobeying the word of you must die.
But this has to be some kind of mistake. I will never do something like that.
Perhaps I am responsible for it.
You fucking rat, I'm gonna fucking kill ya!
Enough.
You are gonna need more than that to fucking kill me! Huh? What's wrong with me? I do not feel so good.
A new month equals another video finish. It still surprised me how many months I postponed this video. I'm starting to doubt if my word has any weight, to be honest. Kyūyaku 2 is a video game that really took me by surprise. I had low expectations just like I had with Kyūyaku 1, but it was able to turn them into 180 grades. This game is great, and you should play it if you have enough free time. Okay, what's next? The next video is definitely gonna be an original idea that I thought while writing the script. And the video following that is gonna be Megami Tensei II's honest verdict video. So stay tuned for more Megaten content. For now, thank you so much for watching this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!